Hello, everyone, and good morning. Today is Friday, May 16th, 2025, at 09:20. And yes, today we have our Day 1 Outlook now that we'll need to cover today again. So, today, if it will load, please, and thank you very much. Come on, we do have Wi Fi here. No, we're not doing this. We are not doing that today. Come on. This is serious. Yes, we are. I just accessed this. Come on. There we go. So anyway, today we have the moderate risk that is for parts of Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, and Kentucky, and just a little bit of Tennessee. So yes, we do have the moderate risk today, like we talked about yesterday. Surrounding that, we have the enhanced risk for parts of Arkansas, going through Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia, Kentucky, a little bit of Virginia, and Tennessee. There's a little bit of Mississippi there. And then a slight risk that does extend from Texas to a little bit of Louisiana, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, D.C., Maryland, Pennsylvania, Delaware, New Jersey, Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, and then back through Missouri, back through Arkansas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, and Texas. So we do have that slight risk area there. And we do also have this marginal risk that encompasses much of Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, a little bit of South Carolina, North Carolina, and then going back through New Jersey, New York State, New York City, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois, Missouri, down into a little bit of Arkansas, just a tiny little bit, and back through Oklahoma and Texas. So we do have that those areas under the risks like we were talking about yesterday. So anyway, today, let's see what cities we've got for today. We have St. Louis, Cincinnati, Louisville, Lexington, Fayette, and Evansville under the moderate. Indianapolis, Columbus, Memphis, Nashville, and Knoxville under the enhanced. Philadelphia, Dallas, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., and Virginia Beach under a slight. And New York, Chicago, Detroit, Fort Worth, and Charlotte under a marginal. So, let's go ahead and deep dive into what we got for the tornado threat. So it looks like we have today a 15% hatched tornado threat for parts of, it looks like a little bit of Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, and Kentucky, it looks like, under the 15% hatched. 10% hatched, we've got parts of a little bit of Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, looks like a little bit of Ohio and Kentucky and Tennessee under the 10% hatched. 5% we do have parts of Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia, Kentucky, Virginia, and Tennessee, as well as a little bit of Mississippi under the 5%. And we do have the 2% for parts of Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, a little bit of Georgia, Tennessee, a little bit of North Carolina, Virginia, D.C., West Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Delaware, going into Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, and back into Texas. So you do have those areas under the 2% tornado risk. So, again, we have Nashville, St. Louis, Cincinnati, Louisville, and Lexington Fayette under the significant severe. Louisville, Lexington Fayette, Evansville, Clarksville, and Owensboro under the 15% hatch. Nashville, St. Louis, Cincinnati, Bloomington, and Jackson under the 10% hatched. Indianapolis, Columbus, Memphis, Detroit, and Springfield under the 5%. And Dallas, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., Virginia Beach, and Pittsburgh under the 2%. So I will have to say, strong tornadoes are possible within the system, meeting EF3, especially in the 15% hatched and the 10% hatched could see a good EF3 tornado possible, I hate to say. So there might even be an EF4, but I would say strong, maybe violent tornadoes. I hate to scare people with that, but that definitely is a possibility today. 5% you could see just a EF1 to EF2 tornado possible. And then 2% you could just see a brief EF0, maybe an EF1 tornado possible, depending on where you are. But please be sure that you are staying on task with what's going on today weather-wise. Going on with today's wind risk, we also could see a derecho as we have a 45% wind risk hatched area for parts of, looks like Tennessee, Arkansas, there went the reset. Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, and Kentucky. This was, I think, a teeny bit of Ohio is under that. 30% hatched, we've got parts of Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, and just a little bit of Mississippi having that. Then we start with the 15% for parts of Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, just a little bit of Florida, Tennessee, North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, D.C., Maryland, Pennsylvania, Delaware, New Jersey, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, Missouri, and then back through Arkansas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, and Texas. So we do have those states under the 15%. And then 5%, we've got Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, a little bit of Georgia, a little bit of South Carolina, North Carolina, going up into New Jersey, New York State, New York City, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois, Missouri, Oklahoma, and Texas. So we do have those states under the 5% risk. So, unfortunately, we do have very significant wind risk today, too. We have Indianapolis, Columbus, Memphis, Nashville, and St. Louis having the significant severe. St. Louis, Cincinnati, Louisville, Lexington, Fayette, and Evansville under the 45% hatched. Indianapolis, Columbus, Memphis, Nashville, and Knoxville under the 30% hatched. Philadelphia, Dallas, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., and Virginia Beach under the 15%. And New York, Chicago, Detroit, Fort Worth, and Charlotte under the 5%. So, unfortunately, for the 45% hatched area, you could see 100-mile-per-hour wind gusts possible. So please be mindful that could be a possibility. That also goes for the 30% hatched area. You could at least see 90-mile-per-hour wind gusts possible in that area today. So please be mindful that there could be possibility, of very, very high wind potential. 15% you could see 60 to 75 miles per hour possible, and 5% you could see 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts possible. So please be mindful wherever you may be. There's a significant wind threat, so there might be a derecho out of this, but who knows. Going into the hail risk for today, we've got a 30% hatched for parts of Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, and Kentucky, and just a little bit of Tennessee there. We have a 15% hatched for parts of Texas, to Oklahoma, Arkansas, just a little bit of Louisiana, and then going up into Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, a little bit of Ohio, and a little bit of Kentucky having that. We have a normal 15% extending from a little bit of Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia, a little bit of Kentucky, a little bit of Virginia, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, going back through Arkansas, and just a little bit of Louisiana having the normal 15%. And then 5% we've got extending from Texas to Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, D.C., Maryland, Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York State, New York City, Massachusetts, Connecticut, New York State, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois, Missouri, then back in Oklahoma and Texas. So we do have a very big hail risk today, too. So, anyway, today we have Dallas, Indianapolis, Memphis, St. Louis, and Cincinnati under the significant severe. St. Louis, Louisville, Evansville, Clarksville, and Jonesboro under the 30% hatched. Dallas, Indianapolis, Columbus, Memphis, and Nashville under the 15%, and New York, Chicago, Philadelphia, Detroit, and Fort Worth under the 5%. So I definitely will say, for the 30% hatched, 2 to 4 inches of hail are possible. So please be on the lookout for maybe 2 to 4 inch hail possible. 15% hatched, you could see 1 to 3.5 inch hail possible. 15% normal, you could see 1 to 3 inch hail possible. And then the 5%, you could see 1 to 2 inch hail possible. So please be mindful, that could be a possibility today, depending on where you are. Anyway, we'll read the summary one more time, unless the SPC, unless the website does reset. So it says, there it goes to reset. Okay, so anyway, summary. It says, regional outbreak of severe thunderstorms is likely this afternoon into tonight across parts of the mid-Mississippi, Ohio, and Tennessee valleys. This will include intense supercells associated with tornadoes, large hail, and wind damage. Several strong tornadoes are expected, and a long-track high-end tornado will be possible from the evening into the overnight. A Boeing line segment is expected with potential for tornadoes and damaging winds, especially some possibility greater than 75 miles per hour. So please be mindful. This is an outbreak today, so unfortunately that's what we have to forecast. There's today's hail risk. There's today's wind risk. There's today's tornado risk. And there's today's day one outlook. So I do really hope that you stay weather aware and stay safe. Please pay attention to alerts. Make sure you have multiple ways of receiving alerts today. I think this outbreak is already, going on right now. So, yeah, but make sure you have a way of getting alerts out. Whether that would be your television source, your internet source, your phone, your NOAA weather radio, whatever it is that you have to be alerted for. But anyway, stay weather aware, stay safe. I will be coming back on here later for the day 2 outlook for tomorrow. But anyway, in the meantime, have yourselves a great day and take care.